You got it. All right. Hi, my name is Rob Cannon. I'm here with Insight Icon. We built an automated deployment of PREP infrastructure on AWS, all automated, scalable, secure, codifies all the best practices into one script that we're open sourcing and sharing with the entire community.
My name is Jake Klamka. I'm the founder of Insight. Insight is a professional education company. We run free fellowships that help professional software engineers and PhDs transition into cutting edge careers, including DevOps engineering, as well as decentralized consensus blockchain engineering. I'm super excited to support this entire collaboration that's going to be built here. And our entire mission, if you vote us in, will be to build out the infrastructure for Icon, create an incredible, robust node, and have many of our fellows, software engineers coming in to learn blockchain engineering, work and build on Icon to make it a more successful, an even more successful and thriving community.
Hi, my name is John Taylor. I'm the program director for Insight Data Sciences DevOps program in San Francisco. I help industry professionals as well as new grads coming from full stack or a system administrative background transition into DevOps careers. When first approached about this project, I was very excited to collaborate because I see the intersection between blockchain and DevOps. And as both fields kind of evolve and flourish, I definitely wanted to be a part of it.
Hey everybody, I'm Mitchell Kravietz-Thayer. I work with Monero Research Lab, and I founded Nonsense Research Lab, which designs and executes blockchain forensics tools, which we're really excited to port over to Icon. I now run Insight's Decentralized Consensus Fellows program, where we have professional developers and engineers coming in that we're really excited to onboard into Icon development and having them start creating new tools. I connected with the foundation about a year ago to talk about starting to contribute to the infrastructure. And so I'm really excited to take this next step, work with Rob and the team, and actually start to partake in the network and on-chain governance. So I'm going to introduce a little bit about our technical stuff. So to give a little bit of background about the kind of contributions that Insight's going to be making, they generally surround infrastructure as code. So certainly we're going to be building an automated provisioning setup. And then within that setup, we're going to be hosting a multi-environment deployment. And so we'll talk a little bit about how that works, and then also multi-account operations to be able to increase the security posture. So for the automated provisioning, we're taking a modular infrastructure as code approach, and that's to support a variety of different node configurations. We heard from the community loud and clear that we don't want to be building one unified deployment structure, because that would be very centralized in the way that we are configuring our nodes. And we want to host a wide variety of different node configurations to have a decentralized grid of different security features. And that's why we need to have modular infrastructure as code components so that we can assemble them in different ways. And so just to give you a little bit of background, you're going to have a lot of stuff that's basic infrastructure that's everybody's going to share. And that's going to include some common modules like IAM roles, networking, things like that. And then whether or not you're going to be in a single node or multi-node environment, you're going to then be relegated to different kinds of security features and replication factors that you're going to fit within your deployment setting. And so that's all that we're doing. We're building out all these different nodes to be able to run down this tree and to be able to assemble different configurations of the stacks. And the benefit of all of that is that this is going to boil it all down to a one-click deployment. When I say one-click, it's not quite that way. You do have to write a small configuration file. It's about one command that you can run it out of a shell script to produce that configuration file, but it's really easy. It's just, it will run through all of the different modules and deploy them appropriately. And this is really just to get our best practices codified, because if we can put all of this into a common code base, these basic infrastructure modules at the top here, they're all going to be shared amongst us. And so we're all going to be benefiting from this infrastructure as code. That's also going to increase the auditability of our stack as well. And so if you are deploying things through the console, that becomes very difficult in order to audit everything. So if we are able to codify everything, then we can more easily make sure that whatever node configuration you're running is in fact the node configuration you're supposed to be running. And so for some of the features, I mentioned them earlier, we're gonna have a multi-environment deployment and multi-account operations. So for different environments, we just need to remember that mainnet can't be stress tested. We can't do that. We have to make mainnet as good as possible. So we need to run testnet in parallel to mainnet. And to do that, we're going to be running multiple different environments: a production environment where mainnet's going to sit, a staging environment that we're going to spin up with the production cluster, and then make changes on with the development cluster, just so we can make sure that whatever we're changing in our development structure gets properly flows through a staging environment and then into production. And that's really so we can make sure that we're not going to have any downtime. But also in testnet, we can do whatever we want over here. This will be a playground. We can really try out different features, do little test nets, do stress tests, load tests, all the like, and we can integrate new security features and do all of that in that zone. And then last, and this is not last, but this is just sort of on a high level, one of the big things about our stack is that we're going to be supporting multi-account operations. And that's really when you read any AWS security best practices or any kind of enterprise security best practices, they're all going to recommend that you use multiple different accounts. And that's to segregate the permissions between your different accounts. So for production, for instance, I don't want anybody but myself to be able to make changes to that. But at Insight, we have over 700 fellows come in at a time sometimes. And so for a lot of those fellows that we're going to be assigning projects to that have to do with this icon node deployment, we can just give them access to the only environments they need, in particular the dev and test environments. And so that kind of covers this side over here. Each one of these environments are going to be its own account. We're going to have an account for identity, and that's just to store all of your different IAM and your identity provider to be able to then assume roles and be able to get access to all of your different accounts. Now, we can build this into a single account strategy, and certainly we will be building a very basic deployment such that you don't need to worry about all of this. But remember, we're using Terraform with all of this, and Terraform can automatically open accounts, unseal them, and configure them with all the appropriate identities. So we don't need to worry about that there. We'll make this as simple as possible. This isn't supposed to be a burden. This is supposed to be, it's supposed to empower you, because you then have that additional level of segregation around all of your different accounts. And so just to finish it up, we're going to have a logging account, and that's going to collect all logs and monitor all of our nodes and collect all the metrics that we need. We're going to be supporting CloudWatch, but then certainly have Elasticsearch or any other advanced logging and monitoring clusters to be able to extract the value. They don't need to be clusters; they can be single nodes, but we're definitely going to want to be able to give whatever metrics and logs to the devs that they need when we're running in both the test net when we're trying to break it, and in mainnet when we're trying to make sure that it all stays together. And that logging account will also take care of various aspects of alarms, so that we could get emails or Slack messages or SMS texts whenever anything really bad happens to mainnet, and so we can get attention on it right away. We're going to also be building a supporting services cluster. And so we are planning on a lot of different things after this. And this is not what we're really mentioning right here, but Mitchell has a lot of experience building very, very advanced techniques for the Monero blockchain, specifically with respect to double signing protection. And so for us to be able to do a lot of that stuff, we need to have an account where we can do all kinds of different things, like run workflows over those test nets to try to see if we can do really, really complicated interactions in there. And then also be able to do different kinds of E2E testing. We're going to have a specific account where it's just sort of our doing stuff against the cluster account, running those load tests and stress tests and things like that. And then last, a DNS account is pretty straightforward. We're just going to be relegating all of our DNS records in there. So that generally sort of covers it. This is very basic. We're like intro to what we're doing. We're going to be following this up with more detailed presentations, with specifically on how you can engage with us with Terraform deployment and how you can run it yourself. We're going to be putting a lot more press releases out there. We got a documentation source up now. We got blogs. And most importantly as well, we're going to be publicizing all of our different project seeds ideas. all the different planning that we're going to be doing, all the different things that are going to be going into this node are going to be documented, and we're going to have them online for the community to be able to give feedback on. And then those projects, as they're approved, are then going to be able to be readily assigned to different Insight fellows as they're coming through their fellowship program and are able to spend a little over a month working on the project. So a lot of good stuff happening over at Insight. Gonna wrap this up now. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it.